Fellow FPL managers, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at the teams with the best fixture runs, looking at some popular players that need to be sold and some recommended transfers. I hope you all had a great game week 4. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. Now, as always with these videos, we are going to start with the fixture difficulty rating, looking at which teams have the best fixture runs and looking at which teams have the worst. Coming in the top spot for fixture runs this game week is Wolves and Leeds. Their fixture runs are fantastic, especially the Wolves fixture run. The issue is, it's Wolves and Leeds. There's not a lot of good players from Wolves and Leeds. Strand Larsen would be a great option, but he is a risk for game week 5, and I would not go near any other player in that Wolves team because they are just awful at the moment. As for Leeds, they're not awful, but there's not a lot of good options. There is one player I like the look of that we'll talk about later. But yeah, the teams with the great fixture runs aren't exactly great teams, so you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. When you look at their players, you need to understand they're not going to be amazing. They're going to be all right players with good fixtures. There are other teams with good fixture runs still, like Spurs, Bournemouth and Villa. They've definitely got some good assets. Saying they've definitely got some good assets sounds weird when Aston Villa are yet to score a goal despite their easy games. As a Watkins owner, I'm getting a little impatient. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And as you can see, the Watkins fixtures are still really good, and we're going to go in depth analysing Watkins soon enough later in this video to see whether it's worth holding him or whether you should finally sell him. There are obviously going to be a lot of people bringing in the likes of Semenyo playing for Bournemouth, which I love. I've had Semenyo since game week 1. I think everyone should own him. I think he's so underpriced. But Newcastle are a solid defence this season. They are tied first for expected clean sheets with Arsenal, so I'm not too hopeful for Semenyo in that game week, but it's definitely a good idea to bring him in either way. I'm just saying, you know, be wary. He might not get high amounts of points in that game week. Nottingham Forest's next 2 games are really good, but after that, they kind of take a dip. The fixtures after are not good. So if you have Forest players, great. Definitely keep them. Their defence may drop in form a bit now Ange's there instead of Nuno, but I'm hoping they could at least keep 1 clean sheet against Burnley or Sunderland. Looking at Everton for fixture difficulty rating, they are 18th, which is kind of true and kind of not. In the next 4 game weeks, 2 of their games are away to Liverpool and away to Man City, which is why they are so low down. But I would not recommend selling Everton players. They do have home to West Ham and home to Palace and some good fixtures after that Man City game. So if you have bench cover for game week 5 and game week 8, an Everton player is great to hold. I just wouldn't be bringing one in away to Liverpool, and I wouldn't be bringing one in if I didn't have any bench cover for game week 8. Looking at players from Wolves and Leeds, if you are interested in attacking them good fixture runs, we've got Stark from Leeds, who is really cheap at only 5 million. He's got reliable minutes and the only player with good expected data. Every other attacker from Leeds either has unreliable minutes or bad underlying data. With him, you get both. As for Wolves, I wouldn't go near anyone but Strand Larsen if he's back for next game week, and it would be good if he's back playing home to Leeds, but this is really unfortunate timing because this is a great entry point for the Wolves fixture run, and I just don't trust a single asset on their team aside from Strand Larsen. If I was looking for a cheap midfielder, Stark would be an absolute no-brainer for me. I think he's really good value for how much he costs. He's getting the expected goals, the expected assists. Not a ton of expected goal involvements, but for a Leeds player that's getting reliable minutes and only costing 5 million, I would say it's pretty good. The only news on Strand Larsen is that they're taking it day by day and that he might feature in the squad for game week 5. Even though FPL gives him an unknown return date, that sometimes usually means that it's going to be a while, but it's not going to be a while before Strand Larsen is back. He will be back in the near future. It's just a matter of when. Now, we are going to be looking at a couple sets of players that may need to be sold. We have Wirtz. First of all, I think it's time to go, personally. He's putting up Odegaard numbers. And by Odegaard numbers, I mean he's always getting a low number of expected goals and expected assists, but never any big chances or big chances created. It's not like he's involved in any end product situations. He's just misleading with his okay underlying expected goals and expected assists. In reality, he's not a good player to own, and he's not going to be involved in a lot of the goals whatsoever. So despite his fixture run, I think it is time to be selling Wirtz. I say good fixture run. He's got 1 good fixture, then the fixtures get pretty tough. So it's not really a good fixture run, but you are selling him ahead of a good fixture, which you just need to come to terms with. There's so many better options. You could pick a player that's got good data and a bad fixture, and he would still be better to own than Wirtz. I was skeptical of Wirtz going into game week 1, but his ownership was very high and there was no one really that good around his price point. So I thought I'd bring him in, and he's turned out not being so great. So if you guys have Wirtz, I think you should sell. I probably will this game week as well. As for Ollie Watkins, I know he's been awful. I know his data's not great. I know he's dropping in price and he's blanking non-stop and Aston Villa aren't scoring, but I still think you should be keeping Ollie Watkins. I know, please don't hate me. I keep saying it and he keeps blanking, but the next 3 games, even the next 4 games, are just way too good to ignore. And Aston Villa will find their form. I keep saying this, but I know they will. And Watkins is Premier League proven, so I'm hoping he can be back within the goals very, very soon. Obviously, it might not happen. He could play home to Burnley in game week 7 and blank for the 7th game in a row. But I believe in Ollie Watkins, so I'm sticking with him and hoping he can get back in the goals very soon. The next 2 players on Forward Watch, we have Kudus and Reijndeers, 2 cheap midfielders that are very high owned and not really performing too well. In terms of underlying data, they're very similar, and in terms of actual output, they're very similar. Both had a really good game week 1 and they've been blanking ever since. Now with Kudus, he's got a pretty good fixture run, and the Reijndeers fixture run is only average, and they're both fairly cheap, so the replacements you can bring in aren't amazing. Obviously, we talked about Stark from Leeds, who I think is really good. And if you don't want Reijndeers playing away to Arsenal, then he could be a good replacement. As for Kudus, I wouldn't be selling him for Stark. I think he's a little better than Reijndeers personally, just because he's playing with better fixtures and he's getting involved in both the expected goals and the expected assists. Reijndeers sometimes comes a little deeper and doesn't get involved in the play as much. He had a big chance last game against Man United and he fumbled it, so he does get goal scoring opportunities. The issue is that's only been his one real big chance this season and he squandered it. And to be fair, I could say the same for Kudus, because Kudus has had only one big chance and he's fluffed that as well. He's only got 2 assists, which were in game week 1. My reasoning for saying keep Kudus is because the fixtures are still good and he's still got reliable minutes and his data isn't awful, you know. He's got 0.34 expected goal involvements per 90. That's not incredibly low. With Reijndeers, he's got 0.23, which is only a little lower, but the Man City games are tough. Pep Roulette does exist. They do play away to Arsenal next game week, and you can bring in a player like Stark who could do better across the next 6 games. But if you don't like the idea of Stark, then there's not really much I can do for you. There's not really any player you can bring in that's much better. So he may be worth a hold if you can't afford anyone more expensive and you don't like the idea of Stark. He kind of puts you in a tough place because he is cheap, which is fair enough, you know. He's getting the odd return now and then for 5.7 million. He's not so bad. In reality, I don't think he's worth a player in your starting 11. I think he could be a bench player at best. So any Reijndeers owners watching this video, let me know what you're going to do in the comments, because it's not the easiest decision to make. Me personally, I'll be getting rid of him for Stark, or maybe stay patient. If I've got bench cover for game week 5, bench him playing away to Arsenal, then start him playing home to Burnley and see what happens there. Now with Wirtz, the best replacement is easily Semenyo, but a lot of you already have Semenyo, so I've also got on Boomer here as well as another replacement you could use. Both of these options are really good. They're 2nd and 3rd for expected goal involvements this season, only behind Erling Haaland. So they've both got really good underlying data, and the Bournemouth fixture run, as we know, is pretty good. The Man United one is only all right. They do have to play a tough fixture quite soon against Liverpool, but before that they do play home to Sunderland and away to Brentford, which isn't so bad. So Mbumo could be a good player to own. If you've been watching Man United as well, you know he's been really threatening on the attack. Definitely the most forward player getting involved in the goal involvements or getting involved in the big chances that are being created. As for Semenyo, the numbers speak for themselves. Expected goals so high, output so consistently good. He has been lucky with a couple assists. His expected assists are really low, but the expected goals are high and he's putting them away. So we can expect that from Semenyo. We can expect many more goals to come throughout the season. He's already gone up 0.5 in price, which is unreal. You know, fair play to people that brought him in game 1. AKA me, not to flex or anything. I, as a Wirtz owner myself, I'm probably selling him for Mbumo, not 100% guaranteed, but that is the route I'm going to go down. That is the path I am going to follow because I believe it's the right thing to do. The only issue is it would give me double Man United attack because I do own Bruno Fernandes, and double Man United attack isn't really the most appealing thing in the world right now, but Mbumo is the best Wirtz replacement for me, so I can't really ignore that, can I? Now, as for Reijndeers, I did say the only real good replacement was Stark, and to be fair, I still back that, but Anderson is still outputting consistent numbers with defensive contributions. He's been very close the first 3 game weeks. He needs 12 defcons to get 2 defcon points, and he got 11 in the first 3 game weeks. So he's been very close every single game. Then game week 4 comes around, Andrew's the new manager and Anderson's still getting high defcons. He got 15, which meant he got 2 defcon points in game week 4, and he's also already got a goal involvement this season. So you've got a small chance for an assist, maybe a goal if he shoots from range, and a very good chance of defensive contribution points. I personally wouldn't go there. I like going for more forward-minded players. I like going for defensive contributions in defenders because they can output it more consistently, whereas the midfielders, it depends on the fixture. But if you are looking to go there for a safer option than Stark, Anderson is still pretty good. Me personally, I prefer to take the risk and go with Stark and save a bit more money. Let me know what you guys would do down in the comments with that one. I think it's a very interesting situation whether you want to play it safe or play it risky. Kind of says what type of FPL manager you are. I know there's a lot of Reijndeers owners that are probably watching this and getting a bit annoyed because they think he's a hold, and I do understand that mindset because if you have bench cover for game week 5, he is pretty good. I've seen Man City play a couple times. I don't think he's looked entirely threatening at all, and I do think he may be a rotation risk when all of Cherki, Marmoush, Foden are back. But I could be wrong. He could get some good points and he could play consistently. I'm just not fully convinced yet. I think if he's a bench option for you, that's great. I just wouldn't have him in my starting 11 personally. If you disagree, feel free to have a go at me in the comments. Anyway, guys, if you did make it this far, thank you very much for watching. You are greatly appreciated, and I will see you all in the next video.